Good morning and happy Monday Morning Mojo with Randy Byrd. I haven't been on in a few weeks. I'm just going to put it off on COVID-19, but the reality is I'm going to talk about mindset today because mindset is such a powerful distractor and motivator, right? And, I told you a couple of weeks ago, I bought into the news at the beginning of COVID because it was just such a massive worldwide phenomenon that you couldn't avoid watching the news, and you really were doing it from a protection level. And I remember a lot of my really good friends giving me tons of shit because I was like buying into the COVID thing, and I still buy into it to some level. But the beginning, we only knew what we knew, right? And the news is feeding us what we knew. So stay-at-home orders and states shutting down. I mean, you don't avoid that, right? But I got bought into the news, and I watched Fox because I just pull my hair out if I go CNN. But the reality is, not making it political one way or another, but I was trying to catch my news. I was recording it in the morning so I could watch it in some fashion that I was in control of, fast forwarding through the stuff I didn't want to see. But it deeply affected me. My coach told me, quit watching the news, right? Tom Ferry, Bill Pipes, my coaches, love these guys. And, that comes for a good reason. And then they started rebuilding the foundation of my belief and staying optimistic and positive. And then we got through that, and I really felt myself shift into that. And the reason I'm bringing this message is because I think it's very timely. So then we come out of COVID, we go into phase 1 and phase 2, opening the country. There's a lot of optimism, and all of a sudden riots and civil duress and distress and unsettledness. And, it's a crazy time to be in. I can imagine being a 16, 17, 18-year-old looking at going into the world for the first time away from their parents' protection and looking at this world saying, this is a messed up place to live, right? But again, what you focus on expands. And so the message for me today's the first day I went back to the gym. You might have saw my post Facebook, but Kirsty and I, first day back to the gym since this all happened. They just opened a week and a half, 2 ago. But, lots of extra precautions, which I appreciate. But it felt good to get back in there. It felt good to be sore again in the morning and really fired up and lit up for my day. But it's disrupted my morning routines. It's disrupted all these habits that you build. And here's my message today. Before I get on my live calls, I got at 8:30. I had a few minutes, but Forbes just came out with a recent article. And no surprise, right? Americans have been excessively drinking, smoking pot, Pornhub's at an all-time high, potato chips, soda, lack of working out, Netflix is through the roof, Amazon's through the roof, which is, somewhat understandable, delivery where you can't go out and buy stuff. But think about that. Think about, without being, again, on the very polarizing subject of should you wear a mask, should you not wear a mask? Is COVID real? Is COVID not real? We're blessed to see the numbers significantly less, and we broke that curve as a society. As Americans, we broke that curve, I believe. And hopefully that curve stays intact, because we're already seeing some spikes in some certain areas. Up here in Oregon, we just had a seafood place on the coast. It's like 158 reported cases in a week since they went back to business, basically. So obviously we're going to have some of these spikes. But for me, what was really the telltale is I feel like we're back to some form of normal. I don't even know if the writings are still going on, honestly. I stopped watching that 3, 4, 5 days ago. I caught myself going down that loop again, going down that news loop where the first thing I did in the morning is to wake up to find out, is my house on fire? Is my town doing okay? Whatever it was. But that led into the propaganda that happens within the news. So I stopped watching that about 5 or 6 days ago. Consistently watched my attitude and my optimism raise over the last few days again. Listen, I'm human. I'm not trying to say that, if anything, I want to humanize this conversation that I have with you in Monday Morning Mojo to let you understand that people are still succeeding and even crushing their goals and dreams. And I talk to so many others that are just so down, and many of my contacts, I focus on 20 conversations a day within my business in a prospecting and follow-up fashion. And sometimes that includes friends and other people too that I care about. But the bottom line is I'm very purposeful about that. And the general consensus is very, pessimistic. It's very on the bad side of the coin. And it's just what you focus on expands. I've said that over and over and over, and I believe that in my core, And, Forbes just came out with a recent article, and they were saying Americans are excessively drinking, smoking pot, potato chips, Gaming servers are off the hook. Netflix servers are off the hook. I mean, Zoom obviously is a business-related thing that's been crushing it, but the stock market's doing great. All these things are doing great. We're still heading towards a housing correction. Not going to make bold predictions here. That's a different show. But basically, yes, we're going to see a housing prediction. Yes, the House of Cards was already in place. And then it was due to fall in 2020 without COVID, without the oil crisis, without the national riots and civil unrest. It's going to change. It's probably going to stay this way for a few months to get out of the lack of inventory and pent-up demand. But listen, the study, though, the article was really interesting, and I'm going to leave you with this. People felt like they were taking the time to reboot and decompress, basically chill out, right? I personally built a garden. I worked out front. I took that time to feel like I was making some progress. I also started, laid out the format of my book. I did some other things that were very valuable for me. I really dove through my CRM, my contact resource management in my space, and really fine-tuned that and had decent, long, thoughtful conversations with people, very purposeful about cleaning up and using my database. But the reality is a lot of people just took the time to just chill. And if you didn't come out of this pandemic and this shelter in place time with a new skill of whatever it may be, whether it's schooling or something we've always wanted to do, or start a new business in some way, start a new project. I mean, a lot of us have projects, but this was the time to really do the things you've been talking about doing for quite some time. And then thirdly, come out with more knowledge, right? I took a couple courses. I did, and I'm not making this about me. I'm just thinking you have time. If you haven't done this stuff yet, you have time to do it. The world has changed in terms of how we're reacting to the virtual space and all this other stuff. But that's my message for the day. Hopefully this Monday Morning Mojo gives you a shot in the arm, gives you an idea that it really is up to you. Going to the gym today felt the best. We were at the gym at 5:20, I think, and did our 45-minute workout. Not doing the 75 hard, but a variation of it to recommit. COVID-19 for me means gaining 19 pounds. I needed a social distancing from my refrigerator is what I needed. But now it's time to reboot. It's time to go. It's Monday morning. You can control this week completely. I'm speaking to myself as much as I'm speaking to you. But the reality is I love doing this. I love being this voice of optimism, hope, and frankly, kick ass, right? So go out, dominate the week. Don't just live through it. Don't just work it out and get through it. Dominate it. You have the choice. It's 8:30 on a Monday morning. Let's do this, all right? So have a great day. Don't have lack of discipline. Discipline is going to be the key to breaking these trends that maybe bad habits that you've set up for the last couple of months, and reinforce those good habits. I appreciate you. It's Randy Byrd saying thank you. Thank you for the coming to my podcast and my video. And if you're listening to this on my podcast, likeaboss.com, I appreciate you for being there. There's no cost of admission. Just like and share it with somebody else if you think there's value. Thank you. Have a great day. And it's Randy Byrd saying bye for now.